Alrighty, well, as you can tell, we've got the Blazer in here on the lift. I'm just gonna start tearing it down. My GoPro battery is actually dead. I have it on the charger over there, but I'm gonna just go ahead and start tearing into this thing. As you do know, it runs in drives. I use this to move my Jeep over before we tore it apart, but I'm kind of actually really excited. So for these two to be one is going to be absolutely epic. You know this thing's reliable. I drove this thing to and from Rouse Creek a couple times, and I mean, this thing is freaking a tank, to say the least, for what it is. And it is somewhat beat up, but the drivetrain and everything is very, very solid, and that's why I decided to use it. So without further ado, let's get the tearing down. I've been plugging away at this, and again, I didn't have the GoPro set up because, frankly, most of the time it just ends up dying anyway. But I got most of the front end. I know I didn't have to take the fenders and everything off, but it was just a little bit easier for me to go ahead and do that. I have the wiring harness and everything disconnected out of the way. This will stay on this side. Engine harness and everything will stay on that side, and I should be at the point to where I can lift this crappy, beat-up old Blazer body off and get it ready for the Corvette to be installed. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get you guys set up here, and we should be able to have this off in the next 15-20 minutes, but in like 10 seconds for you guys.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So fight and fight.
Heck yeah, holy smokes. All right, guys and girls, well, we've got the two separated here. Now I'm actually sort of excited. So basically what I'll do is I'll go ahead and roll this out of the way and move it to the side over here, and then we'll probably push the Corvette over here, put it in the air, and then roll this chassis back under here. I'm not really sure 100% how I'm gonna do it, but that's probably gonna call it for today. But you guys will see in like 10 seconds the aftermath, or however I do this. You'll see how I did it, and we'll pick back up in a couple minutes. Start fucking yanking it around. All right, I don't know how I do some of the things I do by myself, but I did just go ahead and pull one of my two-doors, the one that you've seen the video from earlier in the week that was sunk underwater. I definitely drug that in here and drug it outside, as you can tell by my drag marks here. But now I'm gonna go ahead and clean everything up before we move the Corvette over and then the frame over. I'm sort of excited about this. This has been a long time coming. I did buy this project, I'd say 3 years ago now. I bailed on it, as you guys do know, and now we bought it back, and I'm freaking pumped to get this thing done, to get this thing fired up and driving down the road. So let me get the Corvette moved over here. Well, let me get cleaned up, then the Corvette over, and stay tuned. Woo! All right, guys and girls. Well, it is going to have to come back just a little bit. As you can tell, the frame is a little bit forward here, and the frame is a little bit forward in the front here. But when I measured this out, the Corvette, I believe, is 96 or 98 inches, and the Blazer here was 98 or 100 inches. I don't really remember. It was 2 inches off or 3 inches off, either way that you look at it. But this is going to mate up absolutely incredible, and I'm so thankful that I'm finally able to buy this back. So huge thank you to Donovan. Definitely check him out. He gave me a killer deal on buying it back. He said that he couldn't complete it. He has health issues. I have health issues as well, but I just decided, you know what? Now's the time to do it. Now's the time to plug and chug and get my lifted Corvette that I drove over 2,000 miles for. Remember, guys, I drove the whole way to Florida to pick this thing up with my kids, went to Disney, came back home, and then I, you know, with codes and HOA and all that stuff, I ended up having to sell it because I couldn't have all the projects at the house. But as you guys do know, we made a bunch of progress up here. We got a lift, we got all the tools and everything to do this. I have plenty of land up here now. I don't need to be bothered by anybody, and I'm just super thankful to be where I'm at. It might not look like much to you guys on the other end of this video, but I'm truly humbled to be where I am. I'm truly blessed. I'm thankful. As you can tell, we've got a gigantic lifted limo. I mean, everything is just coming together and coming together well. And this should be the year that I should be on the map 100% and comfortable and ready to live my life and just enjoy all the builds that I have. Again, the two-door Jeep build, you'll see that coming up very, very soon. But had to jump on this one, had to get this thing done because it is bog season. Warmer weather is here, and I cannot wait to enjoy this thing. All right, I'm gonna have to go ahead and talk over my copyright because frankly, I don't feel like walking over there and taking it down. But I got the front end off over here. The only thing I didn't notice is that in order to go ahead and center this wheel in the wheel well here, I have to actually pull the engine and transmission forward. And then again, in the rear, it will almost center this. There is the 3 inches. I measured it. It was like a 3-inch difference, but right there's the 3 inches you'll see. So what I'm gonna have to go ahead and do is I'm going to have to go ahead and remove this bar here. Obviously, we're not gonna be able to run the clutch fan here. We're gonna end up having just to run electric fans, which is fine, which is what I planned anyway. But moving this all forward, I say 1.5 inches will actually benefit this thing in the long run. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the factory radiator and everything out. Again, if I need to move this forward just a tad, I can. And again, we're gonna get rid of that factory clutch fan on the old motor. And then we're gonna go ahead and drill out the crossbar here. I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of it being here, I'm gonna go ahead and move it behind the engine for right now. Just that way we have something, and it's gonna keep this front end from being kind of floppy and jumpy all over the place. Jumpy all over the place? I don't think that's the right term. But flopping all over the place when we go down the highway. So I'm gonna go ahead and relocate this back, or I'll make a new one for the back there. But I definitely want to go ahead and use that. Maybe I can actually, instead of that, maybe I can make like a frame brace from here to the frame brace from here to there, and then we won't even need that. Not really sure how I'm going to do it yet, but we're going to go ahead and get this out, get the radiator out. I'm going to go ahead and roll the body back out, and then I got to cut up the old person's steering column, because that's obviously going to be a no-go. That is not going to work. That is absolutely terrible. It is full of sockets and all that. First link in the description, if you wanted to see this thing previously, I'll put the video down in the first link in the description when I went and picked this thing up. It was a complete and total abomination, and I kind of was glad that I bailed on it. But for now, we are back, and we got work to do. So I'm going to go ahead and push and set the time lapse up.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted.
amazes me what people can do. And the crazy part is the guy was smart enough to figure out how to get the steering to function. He just did it with all like backyards thing. And I'm not complaining whatsoever. Obviously, we've got it addressed and we got it going on. But I got this thing all cleaned up here. I got the welds that he had on here. I got them pretty well cleaned up. The steering shaft, I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do with. That will probably be another video. But again, I wanted to get this thing cleaned up as much as I could. You can tell here, everything looks good. Same thing on this side. We've got everything cleaned up and out of the way. And again, I'll probably put a brace in up here or later on down the road, or when I mount this thing to the frame, maybe I'll just do drop downs from like here down to tie it in, here down to tie it in, and then do like a cross beam in the front. Who knows? I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it yet. Again, this thing isn't going to make the power that the old one made, so I don't think it's really necessary. But you know, if there's a brace there, there's a reason. So I'm going to put it back in somehow, some way. Maybe I'll do like a strut bar over here, like the old Honda Civics and things like that. Not sure. We'll figure it out when we get there. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get the frame rolled back under here for its first full test fit. All right, well, obviously I got it to fire up, but we're gonna say for you guys, moment of truth. Go ahead, Cam, hit that key.